Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a hexagon. And if we can get a hexagon shape, that means we can snap flooring to paving, and it will be in that six-sided orientation. The only way to do this is by doing it manually. I've tried a combination of pyramids and blocks, and you can get six sides, but it will not be equidistant. Reason being is even though this is a pyramid, you still have four sides here. So the only thing I found when going through this menu is a sphere that I can use to reference. So if we take a look at a sphere, you see it has three equidistant lines or markings on the actual sphere here. So we can use that to line up with the center of our, in my case, metal floor panel. I suggest using floor panels because you can use the lines on them and use the center square here in the middle to make sure you're perfectly centered. And you can use this to basically rotate the circle, and you're going to get blocks in place at the angle that you have the circle placed at. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. What I like to do before this, and if you notice, as soon as I hit my build menu, I might be squared up with the floor panel right now, but as soon as I hit my build menu, I'm actually going to move a little bit. So what I like to do is get into the build menu to start. Okay, so I'm going to try and square up this floor panel, and I found that you actually have to step back a little bit, because if you're too close to the center and you try to rotate the sphere, you'll be too close and it'll go red, and that's not good. So you need to make sure, and I'm using a PS4 controller. You could use any controller, but I am on PC. I found that any movement side to side with the keyboard are just not accurate enough. So that's why I am indeed using a controller here. So I want to get my actual body position as square as I can. And I'm going to guesstimate that that's close enough to the center for our purposes here. I'm going to get a sphere. I'm going to line up my very first line with the center line of this floor panel. It's the lighter line, basically the line right in front of me. As you can see, the two lines are lined up. Again, take your time. This may take you 20, 30 minutes, but everything will follow suit if you get it perfect. So that is about as good as I'm going to get. My example here, I'm going to place the sphere. And I'm going to get out of the build menu and then get back in. I'm not moving my body or left joystick or WASD keys at all. I'm just looking up, and I'm going to place three pipes and move over to my cube. And you can see the cube is actually angled to match where I rotated the sphere at. So we're good there. Let's delete our pipes, and guess what we have to do? We have to repeat the process again. So let's make sure that we get our cursor squared up as best we can here. See, I'm actually up. Yeah, that's good right there. Let me get out the sphere. Now notice we went left this time. We need to pay attention. So I'm actually, this time I'm going to go to this line right here. I'm going to get it lined up. It's looking pretty good. Now I might be slightly off center, or it may look that way, because if you look at the line versus my cursor on the sphere versus the line and the flooring, I'm not 100% sure it's accurate, so I'm trying to do the best of both worlds, where it's lined up with my cursor, but also pretty much in line with the line on the floor. So my cursor may not be perfect, but it might just be my vantage point. That's good enough. So same process, but this time obviously we're only doing two pipes since we already have a square or cube there. Again, I'm not moving my body, I'm moving my aim. So that, because as soon as you move your body, things will start to get thrown off a little bit. Okay, so now we have two cubes. We're going to do it one final time. Okay. So again, let's get our cursor lined up there. Let's get our sphere. And that was our first one. This is our second one. And now our third one. Third and final time we have to do this. And we'll line it up. You know, I could spend another probably 30 seconds to a minute on that, but I just don't want to deal with that right now. So, and our final square. So now we can move. We're good here. We have a few cubes that are slightly rotated. So what we need to do is get some pipe attached to the cubes. And we know that there are 6 sides, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And what you may need to do is kind of get to your camera view and look and see which side of each cube you need to place the pipe on. This might be right. Let's go and take a look again here. That looks good, as you can see. From top down, it looks equidistant. It may not look exactly. That's just because some of they're different heights, but we're going to fix that. Okay. So I'm going to delete that cube, and then I'm going to basically move the pipes down to all to be the same height. So I'm going to use 2 cubes, right? And then I'm going to add my pipe back in. If I can get it just like that. Okay, we can now get rid of that cube. We can get rid of that cube, and then we're going to move this last set of pipe, or we only need to do 1 pipe since it's completely straight, right? So all I need to do is this angled, and if you've done it close enough, you should be able to, that's the point. You want to be able to, no matter what angle you're looking at, it'll be 1 pipe width between each angle, or between each set of pipes. Hopefully that made sense. Let's get rid of the rest of our pipes here, and let's take a look, see what this looks like. And I forgot to extend, either I deleted the wrong thing or I just forgot to extend this. So we'll do that. Get rid of the center, and let's take a look again. So there we have it, and that is a manual placement. So it may not be, it's not guaranteed to be absolutely perfect, but it's close enough, right? So I'm cool with that. If people want to critique you on a millimeter offset, then, you know, let them. I don't really care. If they want to go and try this and do this themselves, then and try and make it better, then by all means. So I'm just going to extend these pipes out. Doesn't really matter how many. I'll do 3 is fine. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of a few second in, and I'll show you why. Actually, technically, you don't even need to do this. I'm just trying to get squares into place here. And I just now realized that I don't need this outside pipe. If I were trying to do cylinders, if I were trying to get the flooring vertical, that second pipe or this pipe sandwich helps because I can flip it a lot easier versus trying to do my old method where I would actually just struggle and try and change my angle. But I found if you just use pipes, you can easily flip a cylinder in place horizontally, and it's a lot easier. But in our case, we don't need that outside pipe. It would just snap. All right, so we have, and I'll show you what we have now after I get rid of these outside pipes. Okay. That's what we have, 2 pipes and then a square block in a hexagonal shape. So what we're going to do is make a pipe sandwich on top of each one of these. Okay, and then we're going to get rid of the middle one. And if you can guess why I'm actually doing this, it's because I want the flooring that I'm going to glitch the paver. I want the flooring to be in the normal flat horizontal orientation instead of vertical. You could do it vertical, but it's just in general, if you can get rooms to look the way they normally do, where instead of having walls being horizontal and face down, just having the floors do that, but in cool shapes, I just think that's better in general. It all depends on your application. So, all right, we are going to glitch from the cylinder to the paving, just like that. We're going to repeat this. So this is where we're at. Next logical step is flooring. What you want to do is make sure you keep the sides consistent. So you don't want to go inside on this side and then throw a panel on this side and then inside. So if you're going to start with the outside of the paver, make sure you continue that, or else it's going to be off the width of a paver, and you don't want that. Okay, so we should have 6. Let's check. All right, so we have 6 floor panels. So we're cool. We can get rid of all of our scaffolding, so to speak. Okay. Just be careful when you're deleting fast. I can't tell you how many times I've deleted something and I've had to redo it because I was being quick and careless. All right, so here's where we're at. We can start to extend inward our floor panels. What you're going to notice is obviously there's going to be some overlap. Okay, we can't get all 6 in that orientation. So what I actually normally do here is I use a technique that I found out using a piece of frontage. So if we look at the frontage here, next to it is a floor panel. So you know what, let's actually get this placed. I'm going to show you, you can glitch from this frontage over to a floor panel. Let me show you what that looks like. If I can actually glitch using a controller, which I can't. All right, let's try this again. You know what, I think we do not need the controller anymore for my purposes. So I'm going to get rid of that. So if we take a look, let me actually show you what that did. When you glitch from the frontage, it moves the floor panel forward half the distance of the actual length of the floor panel. So if we were to do this a third time, you're going to have 3 floor panels that are kind of all sandwiched together. Okay. Now, what you can do is if you see we have 1, 2, and 3 floor panels, you can just get rid of the middle one. And voila, now you have overlapping glitched floor panels by using a piece of frontage. So let's do it again. I'm going to get my frontage out, just like that, and just like that. Get rid of, I mean, you don't have to get rid of the middle one. I just think aesthetically it looks nicer to do that. And we are going to repeat. Just like that. And if you notice, my everything is snapping very even. The reason that is because I found moons tend to give me better results as far as things snapping properly, especially near the poles. So right now I'm at plus 0.18 and minus 3.30. Everything near the pole on moons, for some reason, if you look at these snap points, it doesn't matter how fast I'm snapping or how fast I'm going, they stay level. They don't really get off at all. Um, it sounded interesting. So it's just a technique because I was starting to get frustrated with things not snapping, or they'll be even, but every other floor panel or every couple floor panels, one will be higher, slightly higher than the other, and it was starting to bother me. So I spent a lot of time researching and experimenting and found that moons I have the best luck and by the poles. So if you guys ever want to build something and you want to make sure that everything snaps nice and level and keeps flat over distance, try building on a moon near the pole. It will help you out. Or if it doesn't help you out, let me know. Be a good experiment regardless, but it does work for me. All right. So we now have 2 floor panels for each angle, and we have our hexagon. So that alignment's pretty good. If you actually start to take a look at some of the overlap, it's close enough. So that wasn't terrible. It really just depends on your patience, your spatial relation skills. Even if you aren't great at that, you can still get it to the point where people will know, hey, that's a hexagon, that's cool, and show me how you did it, and then make them suffer into the process that you had to do, and that we all will have to do in getting this hexagon. Now, if there's an easier method that somebody can figure out, I'd be all for it. I just have not gotten that to work without manual alignment. So there you go. Hopefully this is helpful. One last thing I wanted to show you is you're really not even limited to 6 sides. So if you can somehow, technically, I could break that rotation down to be twice as much. So I could do a line, half of the line, half of the line, and get 12 points of angles. So in theory, we could do a 12-sided polygon. It all depends on the level of patience. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, obviously let me know, but I hope this is helpful. Till then, cheers.